In this video, I want to talk about, a mod that I'm going to be doing to this car. I'm thinking about doing just two things to this car. I know I said I wasn't going to do anything, but I changed my mind. Unfortunately, I felt the need to make at least one or couple of changes that I want to do. I'm not sure about the second one, but I'm definitely doing the first one. What I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do Katzkin leather seats. I thought I could live with the cloth, and overall I probably could. I just don't think a car gets this nice, you could say, or it just doesn't make sense for it to have cloth seats, I guess. Because everything else is fine, like the screens, all the features that essentially the base model has, other than the performance pack and the active exhaust. This car has more than enough features. To be honest, all I really need is like CarPlay and like a half decent stereo, and I'm fine. And I can get by just fine. It has automatic climate control. You can change the gauges and stuff. It's enough. I don't need everything that the premium pack has. I didn't need like all the enhanced, safety features, you could say. All I really wanted was the car to look cool and perform relatively well on track, and go be able to take it on back roads pretty confidently and feel that it's good. And this car with the performance pack is giving me enough performance that I can do these things without really worrying about it. So the only thing that I really wish I could change, and I really wished Ford would change in the future, is maybe if you upgrade. This is in my wish list. A lot of people talk about how these cars are expensive. To a certain degree, I kind of agree. I do think that once you're paying close to 50 grand for a GT, I think leather should be standard. At least maybe a leatherette or something. But having cloth seats in a car that's 50 grand, it's a hard pill to swallow. And I can feel the animosity. In a way, I felt like it was fine. I was enamored by the car. It was the closest car that I could find on any lot that matched what I wanted. I wanted a race red car with a performance pack and an active exhaust. And this is the closest one that I found without spending a fortune. So I'm sort of upgrading to the Katzkin seats is going to make this car basically how I wish I could have just checked an option just to get the leather seats, and that's it. But unfortunately, this is how the car arrived. I didn't order this car. This is how it was at the lot. So obviously, you cannot change the seats once the car is at the lot. So, and if you order a car, negotiation is limited at if there's any negotiation at all. So I would have paid full price for this car, and I obviously wanted to get somewhat of a good deal. So I bought the car that was on the lot. And now I'm doing the Katzkin upgrade. From what I've done a little bit of research on it for a few months. I was considering to do it myself. There's other companies that offer like, some seat covers. But anyway, that's sort of my thought process of getting the seats upgraded here. I feel like the car is where I want it to be, except for the seats. Now, the second upgrade that I'm thinking about is I'm just going to tint the car, maybe with whatever the legal amount it is. I think it's like 35% or something. I think whatever is legal. But other than that, I think I'm not going to do any like upgrades. Maybe if one day they have, they put out, they're able to tune this thing. I really don't think this car needs to be faster. It's plenty fast. Like whoever I don't know what kind of universe people are living in now that close to 500 horsepower is not enough power. When I had my first Mustang, that thing made like 230 on a good day. It's like I'm basically have twice as much power. I mean, I thought that car was kind of peppy and like from 0 to 60. Obviously, it fell flat on its face after 60 miles an hour, but it was pretty fast. This car certainly feels faster than my BMW, I'll tell you that. So speed is so easy these days that the experience that I was looking for has mostly to do with this transmission and the fact that this has more than enough power. You can talk to anybody on earth, any guy that really knows, any real car guy, they'll tell you over 500 horsepower on the street is a waste, and this car has about 500. You don't need more than that, and you know, whatever, you do whatever you want. If you want to put a Whipple supercharger and get 800 horsepower, all the more power to you. I really don't. I think it's a waste, and it sort of takes away from the charm. You get the supercharger whine and that stuff, but it almost makes the car unusable. I can imagine that keeping traction is almost hard enough in this car as is, let alone adding another 300 horsepower or 350 or whatever. It just makes it little, you know, more of a handful, I would say. Anyway, that's my thought process on Katzkin. I will report back after it is installed, and I'll let you know my thoughts about the whole process. Apparently it's going to take I'm going to drop it off in the morning. It'll be done same day, so I'll be able to have my car upgraded. You know, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, I'll come back later when I have more info. Okay, so it has been, I got my seats done. Let me zoom out a little. And the results are incredible. I think these Katzkin seats are beautiful. I'm gonna kind of talk about it a little more and you know, a little far. I'll be touching on the seats a little later in the video. I just wanted to talk about one issue I had with the installation. Number one, again, I put these seats in a while ago, but I just want to talk about a problem. If you look at the door, we still have a cloth side, so the cloth is still on the sides. You see that plastic bag there? That contains the little leather pieces. So when I dropped off my car and I left, and they had the car all day, nobody told me anything, nobody from Katzkin, nobody from the place where it got installed, that I just assumed that the side parts would be included with the installation. And when I go and pick up my car at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was not done. And they said, no, that's extra. I'm like, what? What are you talking? So basically, it's been like almost a month later, and I finally have enough time, you know, to go back to the place to get it finished and pay another $450 or to get it finished. But another issue I have is the magnet sucks. I mean, the stock magnet was actually usable. This one is you know, it just falls right off. So I don't know. I'm gonna complain about that. Hopefully they can fix that. Yeah, that's the update. I'll talk about it a little more in the video a little later, but I'm gonna go ahead and drive over to the place and here's the back seat. Actually, I mean, honestly, looks really good. I'm very happy with the seats. I just wish it would have been done the first time. I would have just paid the money instead of having to go back and take off another day from work. But here we are. Okay, so I'm happy to report that the side panels have been done, as you can see over there, and thankfully, like, Katzkin given that I had to go back and they didn't tell me anything about the extra cost, they gave me a credit for $250 to do this job, so it cost me basically half as much as it would have. So I guess that's cool. Sucks that I have to go back again, but I do have to go back for another reason. Magnets are still like crappy. You know, they basically just don't work. You could take a hard bump and it would just fly off. It's just not. The stock ones were actually like, you had to like pull with force to get it off, and it was actually useful, but this is not working. So unfortunately I had to talk to Katzkin. They may send me a whole new like piece here, so I might have to go back a third time, hopefully the last time. But again, it hasn't been the smoothest process, but overall the you know, the results are quite nice. You know, if you look at the back seat there, it really elevated the car. I mean, the car really, I feel like the car was screaming for this upgrade. It made the car look a lot nicer. I mean, yeah, this looks more like a $50,000, $55,000 car than, you know, what the seats it came with. And now with the matching door panel, it's I'm very happy. You know, so far I would recommend it. You know, at the very end of the video, I'll kind of give you my like full thoughts.
Okay, so I just got back from my third visit to the installer, and Katzkin got it right. These are actually functional now. They are very hard to, I mean, they may be a little less strong than the stock ones, but they're I just drove with the car for like 45 minutes and it was holding my seatbelt in place, which is what you want these. So it's actually functioning, which is what I want. You know, when you pay $22, $23, $2,400, man, I've literally spent almost $300 in Ubers to get to and from this installer because I had to go 3 times. But overall, I mean, the car needed this. I feel like, honestly, I don't know why Ford, they should just offer a leather. Honestly, this leather feels better than the premium packaged leather. This is nice and soft, it's supple. It just feels higher quality, and you know, but it should have just had leather or pleather or something, you know, from the get-go. But overall, now I think the car is kind of done. There's one last thing I want to do. I'm thinking about putting some tint, and that's a little further down the line. For now, I'm happy, given the amount of time and energy I've had to invest in getting just the seats done. I'm going to save that for later on. I'll probably show you on my computer the exact order that I did, but this is, I did perforated, obviously did perforated on the lower, on here, perforated here. There, you can pretty much go crazy with the customizer and stuff, but in order to get the stitching just right to look factory, as you can see here, you know, that came standard on the car. This is like a pleather, you know, I think leather kind of material. Over here, you got a similar kind of stitching. So I wanted to match that as close as possible. So the closest I got was this, it's the black leather with pumice color stitching here. And that is what this car has. And I think it matches quite nicely and no complaints. So if you wanna get it to look stock or OEM plus, go with black leather and pumice stitching. I'm very happy with Katzkin. You know, there have been a lot of ups and downs with the, you know, with the process, but overall they came through and they actually did provide a solution, even though it took me a third visit to get it fixed and finished. And they did give me, I think, a $250 credit for my hassle. So I'll take it. You know, I wish it would have just been done right the first time, but you know, I just wanted the car done right, and it was worth it for me to go 3 times. But anyway, if you have any questions about the process, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you have any questions about, you know, installing Katzkin seats in your Mustang or any car, leave them in the comments. Happy to answer, and I'll see you in the next one.